Hello world, it's Zilla. It's Mr. Bring You the Scripture so you can see the bigger picture. We're going to jump back into the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 16, starting at verse 16. Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he commanded his disciples that they should tell no one that he was Jesus the Christ. Let's read what the Bible ties to what we just read. The church's foundation. Much misunderstanding has come from the statements Jesus made to Peter after his confession as to who Jesus was. Jesus talked about this rock being the foundation that his church would be built on. He said that he would give Peter the keys to the kingdom of God, and whatever he bound on earth would be bound in heaven, and whatever he loosed on earth would be loosed in heaven. But what we need to understand is that Jesus wasn't saying that Peter was the rock upon which he would build his church. If the church had been built on Peter, it certainly wouldn't have survived. A few verses later, Jesus was calling him Satan. Peter would eventually deny even knowing Jesus. Rather, Jesus would build his church on the confession of who he is. He was using a play on words involving Peter's name. The name Peter comes from the Greek word rock, but the word for Peter is Petros, which means little rock, while the word Jesus used for rock when he said, "Upon this rock I will build my church," is the word Petra, which means a great rock. Peter's confession was the great rock upon which the church would be built. And the keys to the kingdom that Jesus referred to are not some kind of special place that Peter would have in letting people into heaven. The gospel is the key to the kingdom, the declaration of who Jesus is and what he did is what opens the door to heaven, allowing others to make the same declaration that will set them free. As we introduce people to Jesus and they trust in him, they are bound to him on earth and will be bound to him in heaven. As they are loosed from their sins here on earth, so also they will be loosed forever in heaven, freed from the bondage of sin. It is interesting that Peter was the first one of the disciples to preach the gospel, and that he was also the first one to introduce the Gentiles to the gospel. But in doing so, he exercised the same privilege that is ours as we take the confession of who Jesus is